Be the right club. Be the right club today.
Johnny, that's better than most.
How about him?
That is better than most. Better than most.
Expect anything different?
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the No Laying Up podcast live version, recapping this week's Chevron and Zurich, joined by my guy, Mr. Big Randy. Hello, Big. How are you?
Hello, gentlemen. I'm doing well. A lot to talk about tonight. Excited to dive in.
Lot to talk about, running the ones and twos and on the mic tonight, Mr. Cody McBride. Hello, Cody.
Hello, Sully. Happy to be here. Nelly Korda. Who would have thought, huh? Where we
did not see that one coming.
Guys, we rocked them.
Did not see that one coming. We're going to hear from TC a little later on as well. He's calling in from across the pond. As mentioned, we got to talk about Nelly Korda wins her third major championship at the Chevron. Matt and Alex Fitzpatrick get it done at the Zurich. That was an exciting finish. A lot of men's golf news came about this week as well. We got a new Ryder Cup captain. Well, a Ryder Cup captain for the United States side. There were some layoffs at the PGA Tour. We're going to talk about that, some scheduling changes, signature event coming up this next week with some light commitments on that one. Royal Lytham gets the 2028 Open Championship. A lot going on. We're going to get to all of that. Matt and Alex Fitzpatrick, your winners in New Orleans, were both gaming their Titleist Pro V1X golf balls. Every single one of the 18 players who made up the top 9 teams on the leaderboard played a Pro V1 or Pro V1X, with 76% of the field teeing up a Titleist golf ball. And all of those players are extremely dialed into their flight, spin, and feel needs. Golf ball fitting is hugely important. So is the order in which you get fit. Titleist fits the golf ball to your irons and wedges, making sure the golf ball is doing everything it needs to for the scoring clubs. Then they fit the top end of your bag to your golf ball, making the necessary adjustments to the driver or the other clubs in the game. There's a great video on Titleist YouTube channel about Cameron Young's golf ball fitting process, the tweaks he made to the setup, the ones we've been talking about a lot for the payoffs he's had in his game. So go check that out. Go to Titleist.com to learn more about what golf ball is right for your game. Got a couple DMs from people this week asking me to diagnose what kind of golf balls they should be using. Please go to Titleist.com to learn more about what golf ball is right for your game. They can give you a much better answer than I can. Give you a guess, but they'll give you the answer right there. So, Big, why don't you take it away? We are going to start with the Chevron. We have a lot to talk about.
Yeah, the Chevron Championship from Memorial Park in Houston, Texas. As we all predicted on the preview pod, Nelly Korda wins, and she did it in convincing fashion.
Who did pick her?
What's that?
Did anybody pick her?
Yes.
Okay.
Hell
Randy,
yeah, we did.
Randy and Cody did. I got caught up with emotions. I picked LC.
I was thinking you picked her too.
No,
Sorry
I got caught up with LC. That was all right. I don't regret it, but I do a little bit.
All right. Well, Cody and I were the ball knowers this week. Nelly, wire to wire, dominating performance all week. She was the story of this week. She set a 36-hole scoring mark for this championship, going out 65-65 over the first 2 rounds. She shot 70 in round 3, which was good enough actually to tie the 54-hole scoring mark. And she came into today with a 5-shot lead over Patty Tavatanakit, a 6-shot lead over Ronning Yin, 2 players that have won major championships in the past. So I think there was some interest in how Nelly would do with a big lead. Some women that had been in big moments trying to chase her down. But honestly, guys, it really was never in doubt. The front 9 at Memorial Park has been played easier all week than the back 9. A large part of that, 3 par 5s on the front 9, including the first and third holes. All 3 of those women in the final group birdied the first and third hole. So no changes in the scoring. As close as it got all day was 4 shots. You had Patty T. She made a nice birdie on the par 4-6, walked in a putt. That was probably the swaggiest moment of the day, in my opinion. But like I said, got to within 4. It never got closer than that. Nelly was just hitting fairways, hitting greens. She hit 16 of 18 greens today. I believe she hit 59 of 72 greens over the course of the week. Just an expert ball striking performance. And honestly, Nelly, her putter was like fine. It wasn't great. She had some really good birdie looks. I'm thinking at 8, definitely at 9 that she missed. So this could have been a bigger lead. Anyway, she takes it to the back 9. Maybe the only point of, what's she doing? She made a pretty sloppy 3-putt bogey on 12, and that dropped her back to 4 shots clear. But she quickly erased that. She absolutely flagged an approach shot on 14 for a kick and birdie.
13. That was 13.
13, excuse me.
Yep.
The lead went back up to 5, and it was a formality coming in. Credit to Nelly. She had missed the green on 18. Okay chip, left her about like maybe a 12-foot putt for par, cashed that for the win. She finishes at 18 under par. She wins by 5 shots over both Ronnie Yin and Patty Tavatanakit. As far as play-by-play, not the most dramatic, really not the most dramatic weekend.
One of the least dramatic that we've ever seen, if we're being honest with that. There was no drama to be had.
I'm not going to pretend there was drama, but I think the big takeaway was just how dominant a performance this was from Nelly Korda. And just some numbers on her this week and for her career as we open this up for some reaction. It was a wire-to-wire win for Nelly. According to the LPGA stats people, Nelly is the 3rd player in the last 50 years to go wire-to-wire at a major championship where she had at least a 2-shot lead after each round. So just to give you an idea of the dominance there. I mentioned 40 of 52 fairways this week, 59 greens, just was wearing out Memorial Park, just was in position all week. It seemed like this was Nelly's 2nd win of this season. An interesting little note. She has 3 runner-ups to go with those 2 wins. She is the 3rd woman.
Saying 2 golfers have beaten her this year so far.
She's
Sorry
the
if I
3rd
stole
woman.
that from you.
No, it's all right. She's the 3rd woman since 1980 to have 5 consecutive top 2 finishes to start a season. She joins Annika Sorenstam and Kari Webb in that category. She's the 6th American woman to win 3 or more majors before the age of 28 with the win today. She joins a slew of Hall of Famers there. The last American to do that was Amy Alcott, who also was the first person to jump in the pond at the then Dinah Shore. So some symmetry there. And 17 LPGA wins now for Nelly Korda in her career, 3rd major championship. She's getting closer and closer to the Hall of Fame. By my count, I believe she has 21 points now accrued. You need 27 for induction. So, I mean, I wouldn't rule it out that we could see that this year, perhaps. It just dominance. I'm curious, Ollie. Obviously, Nelly played well. I think the course and the way it was set up played into her hands. It was definitely a setup that was favoring the longer hitters. Is that what you saw? What were some, I guess, big takeaways from Memorial Park as well?
Yeah, this was watching this and knowing that I assume, I don't know the actual years. Cody probably knows the answer to this, how long the commitment is to have this tournament at Memorial Park. But this
2029
is through 2029. This is the path to 11 majors. This is having a major championship annually at this golf course for Nelly. But at the same time, you got to go out there and hit the shots and to shoot 65 to start. And just, before the weekend even gets there, if you were a little late to arriving to watching it, which I was a little scattered at the end of this week, and look up and she's 7 shots clear or whatever she was at a certain point. It was kind of over from the beginning. I don't think that's necessarily going to play out that way over the next 4 years, but it is a tailor-made golf course for Nelly. Having some big greens there to just when it was once you got out to that lead, being able to hit just safe spots into big parts of the green and 2-putter way around. Made it really, really hard to catch her. Like it just never felt like there was a path to victory. And it wasn't a tough setup. And the rain kind of the rain muted the golf course a little bit. They were pretty aggressive with the hole locations, and it wasn't a pillow fight. I mean, no other scores lower than 13 under, and only 5 players were better than 7 under, which I think people might not know just by seeing the leaderboard in the corner of it. It looked like more of a birdie contest than it actually was. But this is what we've been asking for from Nelly for a long time, really. I feel like she's starting to catch up major wise to what we were hopeful for in her career. I'd say like just back of the napkin, just throwing this out there, math of like maybe like 1 major behind what would have been the most optimistic case for her to this point at age 27. But we know the talent's massive. She's had a lot of close calls in majors, and just to see her close the door on one, she'd already answered the question whether or not she could do this, but like just to get the reminder of like, no, this is 2024, Nelly. Like, forget about last year. I'm back. I've lost to 2 golfers so far this year, and it's going to be May. It's shout out to Justin Timberlake. It's going to be May, like very, very shortly here. It's a remarkable stat. Hyo-Joo Kim and Lauren Coughlin are the only golfers to have beaten her here in the first 4 months of the year. I know she skips the Asian swing, but that's still remarkably impressive. So kudos to Nelly, and man, I wish it was more exciting when you're this dominant, but hat tip to you and congratulations.
Yeah, Cody, I'm curious what you feel about Wang. We didn't have like the drama moments, right? That you associate with major championships, maybe, but we did have a dominant performance by the player of this generation. So that's not nothing. What are your thoughts kind of coming away from the performance Nelly put on?
Yeah, I think you can't be there's going to be a moment in this podcast where we switch over and become poo-poo and point out things that rightfully so need to be changed. But this part of it right here, Nelly Korda played some damn good golf. Okay. There's so much water that came down on this golf course on Tuesday. They didn't even practice at all. Everybody was closed from the golf course. They came out Wednesday. The LPGA, they have pro-ams for majors and all sorts of silly things. Our friend Angel Yid, she didn't even play a practice round. She wasn't in the pro-am on Wednesday, and she wasn't allowed to come out on the course, and she used that time to just hit balls, shot 77 in the opening round, and then ended up finishing in the top 10 here. That kind of shows how crazy the weather was this week. But Nelly did everything that she needed to do. On Thursday and Friday, the story was all that moisture that came down, tons of mud balls. Everybody wanted to complain about mud balls. Do you know who didn't complain about mud balls? Nelly Korda. She hit the shots. She made the putts. She had a phenomenal short game. And the thing that kind of drives me crazy from being on site for the 2 days that I was down there is that there's so much undulation on these big wide greens that are down there. And these pins are tucked up on ridges on tiny little plateaus and stuff. And that was completely washed out. All the shot making that showed us how Nelly ended up winning at 18 under par was kind of just gone because of the product and everything else that goes around us. But man, she hit fairways when she needed to. She hit so many damn greens. And yes, we can sit here and jump up and down and say, wow, Nelly still has a balky putter. But like when you're watching every single one of Nelly's putts, like she makes a hell of a lot of them. And it's really cool. This moment it should be celebrated for what she accomplished here. She just played awesome golf from start to finish. That's kind of where I'm at, Big.
Yeah. I mean, truly, had she had a very good putting week, she would have won by 10 or more. I think that just speaks to how well she hit the ball relative everybody else. Sully, what did you make in her post round little media hit on? I don't know if it was on Peacock by that point or NBC. They were like, Nelly, what's your message this week? What's your takeaway? And she goes, I want the kids to know you can miss short putts and still win majors. I'm like, I don't know if we want to be telling the kids that necessarily.
I get what she was trying to say. I'm sure the emotion of the moment, it might not have come out exactly that way, but here's my my armchair psychoanalysis of that. I think she's been in her own head about the short misses lately, and she's like saying it out loud that like, hey, I'm so good that I can miss some short. I do not have to putt perfect. Even if I do miss some shorties, then I can, still dominate the women's game the way I just did. And there is a little lesson in that of like, kids grow up thinking they need to be perfect and that pros don't ever miss short putts. And here she has missed plenty of short putts so far this year, and she just won the first major of the year by 5 shots. Like, yeah, there's a little lesson in that, I think. Randy, might not be the stone cold killer message that you want in that moment, but it did sound a little peculiar coming out. But again, I think that's you could tell there's been a little bit of a mental journey for her to get to this point, and whatever it took to get her to this point, I think we should celebrate.
For sure. Yeah. Not only a mental journey, but I think how she, we talked about this in the preview, how she's going about setting her schedule up completely different. And that might not always go along with everybody, that whether that's sponsor obligations or tour obligations or anything else. She is so locked in on these majors. She knows exactly the bugaboo that like the US Women's Open has had for her. She's already thinking about that. This was just step one of the season to get to where she needs to be. And hasn't been at all like, I'm sure she's mad as hell that she got beat twice, right? That she had 2 second-place finishes that fired it up to get to here.
No, 3.
But 3. But she's like, the way that she's going about it and putting more emphasis on these big weeks, I think is great for Nelly Korda and what we want her to turn into. I don't know if it's great for the LPGA Tour.
Well, that's a good question, because one of if you did listen to our preview early in the week, we had 12 storylines, and one of the storylines was is this Nelly's tour or not? In 2024, when she won 7 times, she won the Chevron. She famously won 5 consecutive starts. It was like, yeah, this is Nelly's tour. She is the player of kind of this current generation, if you will. And then last year, she goes the whole season without winning. And it's like, what? Huh? Like, how is that possible when everybody was winning, right? Literally everybody, it seemed like, was winning. And now for her to kind of come out this season again, and yeah, she's only won twice, but man, she looks really comfortable, right? And like, I'm trying to remember the last squirrely shot, like iron shot or drive I've seen her, maybe at Shadow, kind of like off the top of my head. But the only kind of buckles or wobbles we've seen are with the putter. And if she can get some confidence there, I don't know. It just seems like, to answer my own storyline question from earlier, like, is this Nelly's tour or not? Like, hell yes, this is Nelly's tour. Definitively. She goes back to number 1 in the world with the win this week. Gino Titicum, who we'll talk about a little bit later, missed the cut, is not having a good year. Like, this is Nelly Korda is now who everybody has to chase. And Cody, I think that's good for the women's game. I think that's good for just bringing out the best in her fellow competitors, right? For setting kind of the gold standard. I'm excited, and I feel like as excited as I was in 2024, and she did not win any more majors that year. I just want this to keep going. Like, let's have another really dominant Nelly season and then see how everybody else reacts to that.
I think dominant in a different way. I would say we don't need, like, that big run of wins was awesome at the time, but like, I would much rather be sitting here and come end of July and being like, Nelly is about to win her 3rd or 4th major.
Yes.
And I think that's where she wants to be too. Yeah. And that's why I say, I don't know if it's like, if this is what's best for women's professional golf. I don't know if it's best for the LPGA Tour, because I think Nelly, you're going to see her increasingly pull back from some regular tour events, which traditionally, Nelly played in a ton of them outside of like Asian swing stuff, which is great. And I think she needs to do what she needs to do in order to set herself up to compete at her best. You talked about seeing her hitting these shots, but like also like kind of having that little like spunk. She got a little hop in her step again here. And I think it's because she's like super relaxed and has full of energy and has not been on the road for 3 weeks in a row leading up to this, which we've seen. And I think, I'm very curious on what we know that the LPGA Tour schedule is going to look a heck of a lot different here in the next coming years, but like where this is at and what levels of events are kind of being upgraded or degraded, because we're kind of running into something where the PGA Tour is going after as well.
I think what's interesting here, Randy, is that I feel like we've been kind of waiting for. It's a reheat of 2024. I feel like we're going to have a lot of the same conversations around the excitement and the buzz as to what's going on in women's golf. And I think the LPGA could be a lot more popular in the United States if we had the number one women's player be a woman and she goes on a great, be American, excuse me, and go on.
Like, hold on a second, what?
To be American and go on like a great major championship run and start generating the buzz like Annika generated back in the, in the early 2000s, whatever that might be. And we've talked, there's openings out there for Nelly to get out and run as well, because the Koreans dominated women's golf for a really long period of time. And there's a little gap there. It's not the Jin Young Ko of her prime. There's some great young Korean players, but there's not a dominant force. There's no NB Park out there right now. Yanni Sang, she's Chinese, but she, I think the general public tends to group the Asian players together, and they tend to think that the LPGA Tour in America is not as strong when that is the case. And they're just the Japanese women are coming on strong. We've documented that as well, but there is an opening for a dominant player right now. And I think Gino's probably going to bounce back from this. I don't think you brush Gino aside in this conversation, but it's a great opportunity again. And I hope, we go 9 majors in between the last major that Nelly won, and it wasn't a real great run in most of those. I hope it's a much different conversation over the next 9, and maybe like a little bit of a Rory, like, all right, now we're freed up. Now we got 3. Now it's like, let's go and out and get some, but I probably got to clear the U.S. Women's Open hurdle, like not just win, but like got to be competitive in a U.S. Women's Open.
The other thing she mentioned, Cody, I'm curious how this struck you. I just thought it was a little interesting, again, in her post-round media hit today. Nelly talking about how mentally taxing this weekend was, right? Playing with and holding a big lead across 36 holes. It's obviously, I imagine it's really hard to win a major, but when you're going wire to wire and you have, you're up multiple shots at the end of each day, the only thing that can happen is like bad, right? The only surprise. I guess my question would be like, yeah, it seems like, Sully, to your point, to draw a comparison to Rory, like maybe this does free her up a little bit. It's just a different way that she's now won a major championship. And maybe another tool in her toolbox going forward.
She should be looking around with a lot more confidence now to say like, oh, I'm the best. You know what I mean? Even at Chevron, and she's on a great run, but it's like, oh, this is a great run. But is this who I am now for turning? Now 2 years later to be on a very similar run without the same number of wins, but like the clear domination of this tour. That's what's got to be the freeing up part. And there's a way of you can get there and like kind of freak out and kind of go into majors with a ton of expectations and pressure, or you can do it really confidently and say out loud, I am the best, and feel like good things are about to happen to you. And maybe I'm more optimistic this go around that we get another major this year. So I'll ask you guys this. Do we think Nelly wins another major championship this year? And what's her best opportunity?
I mean, she must, right? She must. It
is different when you get to some of the other venues for her, though, man. It is. I hate to say that, but it is.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I would think she would have a good look at Riviera, the U.S. Women's Open.
So I was thinking too, just strictly, I mean, her distance is a weapon, and her ball striking on top of that, like she just gets so many more looks than anyone else does. And even when she does miss a fairway and she's coming in with an 8-iron and everybody else is coming in with a 4 hybrid trying to hold greens, like it's such an advantage.
Yeah. I'd say like LPGA Tour also can put their kind of put the I know the USGA runs the US Women's Open and whatnot, but LPGA seems to be more involved in that kind of stuff than the PGA Tour is on the men's side. You can kind of put their finger on the button if they really want to and say, let's play this. Let's play a little longer. Let's play a little longer. We wouldn't mind if Nelly Korda won a bunch of majors this year. I don't even disagree that they should do. I think that would be appropriate. I don't think that's rigging the game. I think it's appropriate to make sure that the LPGA Tour is not a wedge contest, which the major championships do a much better job of that as well.
So I would think she would have a great opportunity at Hazeltine. That's where the KPMG is. I would think Riviera, if it's kind of playing long and difficult and it's a ball striking test, right? I would think that would set up well for her. The Evian's always squirrely. I truly have no idea. And then Solly, I just don't know a lot about Royal Lytham and St. Anne's and how that's where the AIG is this year. I don't know how that maybe pertains, but yeah, like Cody said, when she's hitting the ball the way she's capable of hitting the ball and just fairways, greens, and giving herself looks, it's like she can win anywhere.
I'd say Lytham is not a place, I would not describe it as a place she can't win, but I would say it is, it's on the tighter side. There's 250 bunkers or something on that golf course. It is a test of your ball control much more than it is distance, like a lot of open venues, but it definitely trends on that. But again, it depends on what yardage they play it at, and it depends on the draw. It depends on a lot of things. So she does not have a great Evian record, 2 top 10s in her career, T8, T9, and 22 and 23. And that's it there. So we'll see.
You know, the one thing I agree with, I'm going to go with Riv there. What I love about her, every time we get over for the AIG, it always surprises me because she talks about the challenge of links golf, never really growing up playing links golf, and how much she enjoys it. And I know a lot of that came from like showing up at St. Andrews big and like having some incredible performance, but like she was real close to a top 10 of Walden Heath the year earlier too. Last year, not the year for her, but I think she was just battling all sorts of things. And we sat there and called radio of her missing every putt possible, which was impressive. Yeah. And I know this is going against what I said earlier. There's a difference when like those short putts are for birdie and when those short putts, like she's grinding over back, like 20 footer after 20 footer after 20 footer for par. And you're like, this is not comfortable or fun to watch anymore. Or I'll try to crawl on radio and be like, hopefully she gets it turned around by next hole. She just wasn't there at all. So I don't know. She might surprise us. Riv would be incredible though. I mean, I don't want to say I can picture it, but I don't know. I don't want to get too far ahead of ourselves here. I think
but that's 99% of what we do.
For sure. I think the one thing about like, is this Nelly's tour? Yes, I would say that. I think everybody that works in the professional women's game would agree that that's where we're at now. But in order for it to really elevate and make it, she needs somebody to battle with.
Yes.
And I think there needs to be somebody out that can be her fill. Like you need the counter punch. And even if it's only a run, if it's HJ for a week and LC and then Patty showing up this week out of nowhere, that's great if we can keep rotating them through. But we got to have somebody up there who's almost consistently there that can do the counter punches back.
It's set up so well. If Gino can win a major and really start to have success the biggest weeks of the year, right? I just Gino v. Nelly, not every major, but on occasion, battling it out. Like, sign me up for that. I think last thing, Neil was texting us all weekend. Just boys, the road to 11 majors is a lot shorter after this weekend. Neil famously, after Nelly's first major, which I believe was 2019, we were like, Neil, what's the over-under for major wins in her career? And Neil threw out 11, and I think we were all just completely flabbergasted. It is a little shorter feeling after today. And I gotta say, with the Chevron being in Memorial for the foreseeable future, like, I mean, she's gonna have many more looks there, definitely. Solly, are you willing to revisit? Is Neil still? Are we still laughing at Neil? Or are we
yes, the over-under he set was 11. He didn't say, like, I could see a way that she gets to. He thought it was a 50-50 chance that she would get to 12 majors. That's the over of 11 majors. So, yes, we're still going to laugh at that. But I think it's also, I think you go ahead and roll it, Cody. I think we have some feedback from somebody involved in that.
Hey, guys. What's up? I wanted to give out
I don't know what happened. Let's do it
Neil
again.
for always believing in me. Thank you.
Try it one more time, Cody. See if it'll play from the start.
Hey guys, what's up? I wanted to give out shout out to Neil for always believing in me. Thank you.
For those listening in your car, that is Nelly in her post-game press conference, not in the presser, in a selfie video, shouting out Neil for the 11 major prediction there.
So what's your over-under number? I guess that maybe that's where we can leave the Nelly talk. What's a new fair career over-under?
This is going to sound low, but majors are hard to win, and 27 is not super young in the women's game. 4.5. I think if she got to 5 majors, that would be remarkably impressive. And that always sounds low at this point, but 2 more majors in her career would be really, really, really good. Yeah, it's either 4.5 or 5.5.
I was thinking maybe 5.5, which still feels low, but I think is fair for a lot of reasons. I mean, I'm just picturing like, God, win at Riv, go to Hazeltine. Like, let's go to the Evian 3 for 3 this year.
But we spend most of those major recaps wondering why on the real golf courses she doesn't come close to being herself. So I'm not getting out of. I don't think this solves those problems. And problems are relative, right? She has a runner-up the Women's British. She has a runner-up the U.S. Women's Open. She could have won in 2019 KPMG Women's PGA at Hazeltine as well. A couple other, another runner-up at Chevron back at, and so there's been close calls. But anyways, we will see. For once, we're not going to give them.
I think if it's 4.5, I'm going over.
Yeah,
like
I probably would too.
But
5.5 is hard to go over. That's why I think it's you probably, if it's 4.5, you got minus odds to go over that. But I don't think it'd be minus odds over 5.5. Would be my guess. So
I don't know. Nelly's really never talked about how long she wants to play. Recently engaged. Have no clue. I think a lot of the time for people who cover women's golf, we just kind of naturally always say that people pumpkin at 30, but that's not the case at all anymore. I think it's hit or miss. And I think we see a lot more moms, the women leaving the tour, going, having a baby, and then coming back and playing. So who knows? I don't know. Would we be happy if Nelly ended her career with only 5 majors? Like, I feel like it's so much more than that.
So that's an interesting question. 5 gets you Sayri Pak, Amy Alcott, Yanni Sang. 6 puts you with Betsy King, Pat Bradley, Patty Sheehan. 7 majors puts you up with MB Park, Kari Webb, Julie Inkster. And then kind of 8's the rarefied air. I mean, that's Betsy Rawls. And then double-digit major wins. Annika obviously had 10. And then, I mean, she's the leader for anybody that played after like 1970. So I think 5 is like an exceptional career, obviously. But I think if Nelly could get to that like 7 major mark, like a Kari Webb, NB Park, I feel like that's almost, it feels a bit more fitting for maybe what I sense her larger career impact to be.
I'd say got to get 2 more this year if you're getting to 7. You got to go now. Like, you got to go while it's happening for you. And she's gonna have plenty of the opportunities. I mean, you could track a lot of stuff in a lot of different places. I would guess Arccos could set something up like this that could track her major winners. It'd probably be probably too much power in that technology there for something that's as easy to track as that. But Arccos is the official game tracker of the PGA Tour, probably the smartest platform in golf. You're seeing it in real time with guys like Matt Fitzpatrick, wins at the Valspar, wins at the RBC, and just did it again at the Zurich, of course. He's been very open about it. Arccos is a huge part about how he understands his game. It's not just tracking stats. It gives you real insights into how you actually play. It's the stuff that becomes your secret weapon. It understands your tendencies, where you lose shots, how to adjust. That's how you get on runs like Matt is on right now. I just got a bunch of feedback on it that my short game sucked, so I completely changed my wedge setup, and it's only a sample size of 1 round, but it quickly changed around by just changing my wedge setup. The easiest way to get all that now is the new Arccos Air. Been using it for a few months now. It's out now. Inventory is tight, so if you want one, you got to go get it. No sensors on your clubs, no phone required, just golf. It's like a health app for your golf game. You're not just sitting, you're not sitting there counting steps or tracking your sleep manually. It just happens in the background. That's what Arccos Air does. You put it in your pocket, play your round, and it tracks everything. It's completely frictionless. You make some edits when you're in the clubhouse after the round, and then it gives you a report on your game, tells you chipped like an 8 handicap, but you putted like a +4 handicap. You drove it like a 12. It gives you direct feedback on everything you did, and you will learn something. You might have a number in your head, and it'll play a lot different than that. So you get the smart laser rangefinder as well. It takes it even further. It's not just giving you a number. It factors in slope and wind. So, if you laser 150, it'll say it plays like 162 back into the wind. It gives you you can make up shots in so many different ways using this platform. So if you want to play smarter and actually understand your game, go get Arccos. You can go to arccosgolf.com. That's ARCCOS golf.com. Use code NLU15 for 15% off. Love Arccos.
Yeah, I can't wait to start using it. I've not played around
golf yet.
I've not played around in golf yet this year. Boys, can we just run through quickly, Tybo, on some of our storylines? I think that will help frame some further discussion from the Chevron. Anything else? One of our storylines from early in the week was, I believe this was Tron's, wondering aloud if Gino has that dog in her. Not a good week for Gino. She missed the cut. She goes 74-73. Everybody's entitled to a bad week. Gino has not had the greatest start to this season. Are we worried? Are we just chalking it up to, maybe something's off mechanically, she'll get it fixed? Or are we getting a little worried about Gino and her lack of breakthrough in majors?
Missed a great opportunity at the Evian. Got kind of one taken from her, really, at the Evian. It feels like she should have a major at this point. This is a dip. This is I'm not selling everything on Gino. I think we have put a little spotlight on her major championship record for good reason. But if you made me pick, will she win a major this year or not, I would still say she will. So I'm not selling off Gino stock just yet. But we need to see some of that dog, to TC's question.
Cody, do you feel differently at all?
I mean, I think maybe the early season win at home is carrying a lot of weight for me. But man, her major performances are tough. I don't know. I'm not worried. I'll say that. I think eventually it's going to come. It's one of those things where we forget she's truly super young and gives herself so many opportunities. I think eventually it has to happen. But people said that all the time about, a lot of other players. I don't know what's going on with her. As much as she said she doesn't let it mess with her mind. It's not a mental thing. Clearly there has to be something. That's just human nature there. But this week was not good. But I probably could have told you that when we showed up and it was wet, and she doesn't have the horsepower for it.
But she does. When she does win, it's the low scoring majors. And granted, it was kind of a weirdly low scoring at the top, but not that low scoring throughout. So I don't know exactly how to evaluate that, but decent sized missed opportunity. But I don't think nobody was beating Nelly this week anyways.
Not a good putter for Gino. The only thing I would say is my advice to her would be, however Nelly has started approaching majors and whatever she is doing to try to ramp up and play her best golf the 5 biggest weeks of the year, I feel like Gino needs to start maybe taking a page out of that playbook and just learning, how do I peak, the 5 majors of the year, because she's good enough to win any week, but yeah, she just has not played her best golf when it matters most. So I'm not selling either. I'm still holding out hope there. Another storyline, will Japan go back-to-back? Guys, pretty disappointing week, if I may say so, for the Japanese women. Mal Saigo was your defending champion. She shot +4 overall, finished tied for 59th. We saw Nasa and Chisato Iwai miss the cut. The best Japanese women finishers, Minami Katsu and Ryo Takeda, were tied for 12th. Had you asked me Tuesday, or had you told me Tuesday that no Japanese women would be in the top 10, I'd have been pretty flabbergasted, to be honest. So I think that's, maybe just a bad week, but something to note that's interesting. We had a Hyoju Kim discussion. She obviously has won a couple of times already. A pretty good week for Hyoju. She finished solo 6th this week. Not really competitive in terms of winning, but kind of the non-competitive wiki top 10. Good week for her. Good payout. Didn't have the distance. Another player that's like Memorial Park just was not set up to capitalize on what she does well. Charlie Hall, can she ever win a major? She did not this week. She did top 10. She finished at -5, kind of another non-competitive top 10 there for her. She was not low English woman. That was Lottie Woad, who finished at tied for 7th. And then maybe we'll pause here for just a second. There was a storyline about, can Minjee Lee become a 4-time major champion? And she did not. She did not play well. She shot 2 over, finished T49. But early in the week, the LPGA put out a thing saying Minjee Lee is going for the career Grand Slam this week. Guys, I think we need to have a real conversation about what is the modern LPGA career Grand Slam, because as is, they consider winning any 4 of the 5 current majors to be the career Grand Slam. I just don't think that's right. And Solly,
can we lump this in with the final when we do the big macro Chevron? I think that works with that. I think that all flows together. Okay. We're gonna get through these, and then
we'll put a bottle in there.
We got some things to get off our chest.
Is another storyline this week? Is this Lauren Coughlin's time? It was not, unfortunately. Tough Sunday for LC. She shot 77. She finishes tied for 55th. I was saying, where have all the American stars gone, right? And this is kind of non-Nelly division. Never would have guessed Ryan O'Toole would be the low American, not named Nelly Korda. She had a good week, finished tied for 7th. Angel Yin, as Cody said, overcame that opening 77 in the first round to finish tied for 10th. But Andrea Lee missed the cut. Rose Zhang missed the cut. Lindy Duncan missed the cut. Those are 3 of the higher ranked American golfers at the moment. Allison Corpuz, tied for 27. There's just not a lot of excitement right now outside of Nelly Korda most weeks for American women. And we don't have to go into it all right now, but I do think it's just worth keeping an eye on. I think who's that next kind of great American golfer? Is it 17-year-old Asterisk Tally? I don't know, but I feel like we're due for somebody to kind of break through. And then this leads to 2 of our other big storylines this week. And let me just read what we wrote on Tuesday. This is the first big litmus test for the enhanced, improved broadcast for LPGA events that was announced at the beginning of the year. Very curious to see if it's improved over the bare bones skeleton operation at Carlton Woods the last few years. In conjunction with that, we had, will Memorial Park feel like a major championship venue? So who wants to go first here? Because as great as Nelly Korda's golf was this week, I was so freaking frustrated by the broadcast and the effort or lack thereof that NBC put into showing this major championship.
I'd say outside of Bones.
Outside of Bones.
I think Bones was the one. Every time Bones' voice came on, I perked up a little bit of oh, Bones is there. Big time event. And
he should honestly get everybody's pay for the week. He was the only, he added gravitas. He was really the only thing making it remotely interesting from a viewer perspective.
Rainey, I'm glad we talked about this beforehand. We talked for quite some time about Nelly's excellent golf. Everybody teed it up this week. All of the players know that it is technically a major championship. One of the 5 weeks of the year you want to peak the most, and Nelly was able to do that and do it emphatically, and that's worth celebrating. I think we sitting here can celebrate the companies like Chevron that are investing in and supporting women's golf, and by all accounts, putting on good tournaments with solid purses. The players seem to be quite happy with it. But we also have to accept that something like this tournament, whatever it is still very likely to be at odds with what the golfing public considers to be major championship golf. And there was almost nothing there this week that made that feel different than any week-to-week LPGA event.
And let's drill down. Is that more of a Memorial Park as a venue or the broadcast presentation by NBC Golf Channel?
I think you can ask that question, Randy. Is it an LPGA thing? Is it a Chevron thing? Is it a Memorial Park thing? Is it NBC Golf Channel? And I kind of throw my hands up and say I don't care. I don't know. I don't know who to blame or where to point the blame. I like Memorial Park. I think it's a fine golf course. I said this in the preview. If you're going to have a major at a singular course every year, it needs to be a banger. And you all made fun of me when I did that, but the overseed though, and it's a different golf course than when it's played on Bermuda, and the chip shots around the green are different, and the slopes come alive a little bit different, and it's still, I think it's better than Carlton Woods, but I think we are taking an event that was, again, we talked about this a lot in the preview, but was the Dinah Shore, was a tradition out west. There was an environment around that event, and you move it to Houston and call it still a major championship. And then, so I've asked myself this question of like, all right, yeah, they moved it. It's been here a few years now. We're critical of it every time. And then they, hypothetically, somebody would come to us and say, okay, how can we make it a major? And my answer to that is you can't. Like, it's not one. Like, it's not one. There's not, you're putting on an event and you're calling it a major championship. The graphics are the same. You're mailing in. I mean, the TV product did not feel any different than it had in prior years. I think we were excited about, there are a couple more drone shots, maybe some more tracers out there. We were excited with what we saw on the West Coast, but it combined the lack of environment out there, no fans out there on Thursday. I think it improved as the week went along, but like the shot of the tournament was Nelly stuffing it in there on 13 and no reaction from the broadcast, like a short reaction from the broadcast and no enthusiasm at all from the crowd there. Even when Nelly made the putt, Cara Banks makes the call, and then like just nobody chimed in with any comment on any of it. And it is passing all of the responsibility onto a viewer that doesn't want to do any work on this to like make the leap in our own heads that this is a major championship, and it's not working. And I know why it's this way. Like a company has come in and thrown up a lot of money to put up the biggest, a bigger purse than they normally play for on the LPGA Tour with the hook. Yes, this is a major. Like, yeah, we're going to call it a major if you give us this amount of money. And that works for the players. That works for Chevron. That works, in general, but you've made it very hard on fans. And you've diminished the other major championships, I think, with this process. So that's a rant, I guess, a little long-winded. I'm curious your guys' reaction to that, but I guess I'm tired of like trying to make the leap internally that this is a major championship, because there's just almost nothing that screams that it is.
Cody, you want me to go, or you want to go?
I'll go big. I think there's something here at Memorial Park. I love the fact that it's a public access golf course. I think the city of Houston, I think the Astros Foundation have done a phenomenal job. It's a fucking Tom Doak golf course. I said this before we started. I think the biggest thing in like the resto renovation that Doak did was for a golf tournament on the PGA calendar that was hosted in the fall, and overseed was not in the question there. And when the PGA Tour event moved to the spring, which they wanted for sure, and they brought overseed into the picture, yeah, it looks really good, but a play is a lot different. You're not going to have firm and fast. That's just not how it's going to be. Even without the massive amount of water on Tuesday, it's not going to play like that. And that stinks, because for everybody else, people that live in Houston, people that play Memorial Park week in, week out, it's a really tough golf course with awesome greens, really, really cool green complexes. And that's where the teeth is at. And it's just never going to happen this time of year, no matter what it is. I think the major or non-major, we talked through this a lot. You're right. We can't say if you can slap a price tag on it, that what makes it a major, because Walter and Shirley probably heard that and are like, oh shit, we can raise our purse to $9 million next year above the $5 million that we just moved the JM Eagle up to. And maybe we can get a 6 major on the calendar, which is great for the tour. Right. And everything that Chevron is doing is great for the LPGA Tour, but it's degrading everything else around it. Like all the, the other majors. KPMG has done an awesome job. That major championship wasn't even a thing really until KPMG came along and really boosted that up. The U.S. Women's Open's always been awesome. AIG Women's Open, AIG putting a ton of money into it. It's great, but it's so hard. I mean, I think we learned this last year, and like how events over time can turn, and how we totally embrace the back nine of Evian and realize like, holy shit, this is fireworks. And like, I think it's because we got used to seeing those holes and realized how quick things can get off the rails and like how much is still in play. None of that is the case at Memorial Park. The broadcast put in zero additional effort to help show why this place is so cool, because it's not a flat property that they showed. I didn't see it like outside of a random handheld cam, like one time on the bleachers in 15 and a couple other times, they barely used any of the drones. We didn't do any drone tracer. Maybe that's not just in the LPGA budget, even though TrackMan is proudly put right there in FM. If we saw that This Is Texas commercial one more time, they don't need to show it every damn commercial break. And there's a difference here when it comes to broadcast schedules themselves. The split between Golf Channel to NBC, I understand, but they're splitting their windows on Thursday and Friday with nowhere to go. And then on Peacock, for the weekend, which is fine. I can get over that, but completely two different crews for the week, which, like, no offense to Cara, people aren't used to you being the lead announcer for a major. And if that's going to be the way for all majors going forward, there needs to be something else there. I love the fact that Bones came in. I agree with you, Big. Everybody should donate their paycheck to whatever charity Bones wants it to go to. But like choosing Amelia for the second and dumping Karen, that made zero sense to me. Let's dump our person on the team who's actually, outside of Morgan, won a major championship. Like, does this week in, week out, knows these players, these shots better than anyone else. The whole thing is laughable. And I said this before we got the show started, is I spent, 2.5 days down there on site, and this whole entire weekend sitting here watching it, and I feel worse off for it. I don't know what I'm doing. All right. And we're supposed to be the people that are trying to make new fans of something that we love. All right. This stunk straight up. And one of my favorite golfers won the tournament. Right. And I don't know how to fix that.
Right.
It's an LPGA. That's the whole thing. But like, isn't it an entirely different lens if this was just one of the bigger events on the LPGA tour? Like that's the thing we've been saying for. It's a signature event. And it just makes this whole conversation super murky. And again, I get why it exists, but like, this is not the best thing for golf fans, I think.
What's weird is, okay, if I may, I've had stuff in my head all weekend. Cody, I'm with you. The overriding emotion that I felt as a viewer, Saturday and today is just anger, like just insulting. I was insulted by the effort NBC Golf put out this weekend specifically. They've had better telecasts previously, like the founders at Sharon Heights in California was a better telecast than this major championship, which is mind-boggling to me. The LPGA Tour finds itself where their broadcast partner is actively harming their product. And until new commissioner Craig Kessler addresses and does something about that, I don't think anything else matters. You can toggle the schedule, you can make whatever changes you want, but I think priority number one for him needs to be, we got to fix this shit. Because if you sat through yesterday's telecast, where seemingly like all the handheld cameras, to your point, I think went away. There was essentially, they just showed the final group and took commercial breaks in between, all the shots for the final group over 36 holes this weekend.
It's Texas.
It was an appalling commercial load. Like you said, there was nothing in the presentation of this that would make a new viewer feel like, oh my God, this is an important event. Like this is important. I just think this is a massive issue for the LPGA Tour, and it really just erodes credibility everywhere else until you figure out what is going on here and how this can be presented more as a major championship. I'm willing to get on board with Memorial Park. Teach us about the holes. Show us cool views. Walk us through the strategy. If we're going to see these holes year after year after year, let us get comfortable with them, right?
100%.
Hopefully they can parlay the setup to get the most drama and the most excitement out of the individual holes. Okay. But if this is what the telecast is going to be, this is dead in the water. I you know, if anybody listened Tuesday and was like tuning in for the first time, like, I apologize to you. This was not a fun experience. I've said before, like, being a fan of LPGA women's golf can a lot of times just be hard and frustrating. And I've never felt that more this weekend. I think Sam Flood, Tommy Roy, like, they should be ashamed and embarrassed by this. And
Great supporters of the women's game. They'll tell you.
It truly is. They don't give a shit. And it could not be more apparent watching Saturday and Sunday this weekend. I am so disgusted. And I would just say, Craig Kessler, this is the issue. You own this major championship. You got to fix this, man. And I don't care about where the past champions stay at the hotels. Like, that's great. I don't care about the purse increase. I don't care about any of that until you give me a reason to care about the golf and make it a fun, exciting viewing experience. And I think they are so far away from that. I just cannot believe it. I'm angry. I was angry all weekend.
I think there is the defense I'll give of Craig and the new nature of his tenure is where I would say he's got a year now. He came into this, he got it moved. He got this moved to Memorial Park, which was a dub. And I would guess there was not the time needed, available, I should say, to get what you're talking about fixed ahead of this year. And that's a new goal for next year. And in year 2, the expectation might be different than it may have been for year 1. I think those frustrations are entirely fair. I think it would have been probably unrealistic to expect that this new administration could have gotten all of this turned around this quickly when you're locked into a TV contract with a broadcast that just doesn't care. So
I just can't imagine accepting it, though. Like, not raising a stink about it, or not just acknowledging it to the people, like the fans. Like, just tell us what we're all seeing. Like, LeBron, I just want somebody to verify the truth before my eyes.
LeBron tweeted about it. We're good, dog. We got this, man. Did you not see that?
I agree with the line of thinking that you're going down, Solly. But to me, it brings forward, I think, a bigger issue that Craig has on his hands, is that you're right. This might be his first Chevron Championship. This might be Chad's first Chevron Championship, because this is also in Chad's alley. There are hundreds of people that work on that LPGA Tour staff that it is definitely not. Yeah. And I hope they sat into post-tournament AARs and debriefs and went through this, because they go through this every single year when it comes to the Chevron after they move this tournament to Texas. And Craig doesn't make every single decision. He might sign off and approve ones that make it to his level, but he's not the only idea guy. He's not the only decision maker. He might be the final one, but things have to get to his level first. And if people are okay with this at the heart of the LPGA Tour, that is a bigger issue.
It's the only issue. It really, it's the canary in the, to me, it tells me everything about the organization as a whole. Like, if you're calling this a major, you own it. And if it's this poor from a viewer experience, it just erases credibility from everywhere else. You know, I just think it's a massive, massive problem. And
I did come with a couple things that I think, not just throwing, ice on all of this, things that they could do to actually make this improve. The broadcast stunk. It felt flat. A lot of that is because of, there's nobody there on Thursday. There's nobody there on Friday. And I understand people got to work. Kids are in school, everything else like that. You have to figure out a way. I don't care if it's field trips. I don't care if you got to come up with some sort of program or anything. Get kids free tickets, give them sack lunches, get people there. You have to get people there. And then maybe on the way out, give them free tickets for the weekends if their parents bring them or something like that. You have to get people there, because that not only feeds the players, it feeds the broadcast.
Yes.
It was a substantial build out on site. You could tell that when the PGA Tour left, the LPGA team came through and pointed out which grandstand they wanted to be removed. But it was the largest big build out I've ever seen at any of the women's events that I've ever been to. And I think that should be applauded. There were so many options where, like, most of the time, I remember in Frisco last year, if you went out like by the turn where 6 and 7 are at on Fields Rants each, you couldn't get a bottle of water. It was not good at all. So tons of options here. Great to see. On the broadcast, I think it's very simple. Use those pre-tournament days. Big, like you're saying, do some drone overviews. Utilize the personality and the staff that you have. Bring heat maps in. Talk about angles. That's what Memorial Park is. You can lay over all the shot data that you have from the men's. How cool would it have been to say, hey, from this spot on 14, this is where Gary Woodland hit his second shot in from. This is where Nelly's at. Compare and contrast the two. I think there's so much that they could do there if they wanted to actually bring that up. On the history of this event, I understand that people struggle and there's confusion there. Instead of just showing who the winners were for the last 20 years, which I feel like we got hit over the head with that, talk of the story of why. Talk about why Chevron invested into this. Lean into it. Instead of looking at it as a black eye, like educate the fans for why it is a major, why we are here. I think there's little things that once you add them up will go a long way. Be outside of like figuring out who the voices are on these actual telecasts.
All very good suggestions. Yeah, I for the amount of shots they did not show, like truly, we saw Farrah O'Keefe. We saw kind of the low am battle, I guess, today.
Yeah, I don't know why. Like,
but again, like what does that get you? What
does
the low am get you? You never like, why is that important? You know, like no real stats, no like, hey, if you miss on this side of the green, you know, the scoring numbers, like nothing like that. Morgan Pressel, I can't. She does not say anything ever. It's horrible. Yeah, drones, talking about strategy. You could have had Karen and Bones out there with the final group, you know, talking about like, here's how you want to play the hole, some good drone stuff, interlay some heat maps, but there's just nothing. It's just like, what are we doing? I feel like the joke's on me. Like, fool me 7 times now, or however long I've been paying attention to the Chevron, and I'm like, okay, nothing's gonna change. Like, I think it's just on me at this point to like,
which
just the way it is
gonna like triple frustrate us in the media, where we are like supposed to treat it like it's a major. Yet that's what I'm like, just slapping the label on it is what makes it the hardest. Like, we wouldn't talk about it for an hour if it wasn't considered a major, but then it's not passing the test for being a major. So then we just end up doing this conversation every year, which is not a fun one to do. One thing I will shout out, like the LPGA Tour socials have been a lot better and were a lot better this week. Like, just really good, really good visuals. They picked up a lot of Nelly's round that wasn't in the broadcast window, which
has been issues in the past.
Yeah.
You know,
but like,
I think that's a big improvement there, not just the quality of it, but the fact that it's not necessarily in the window, but it's because of NBC properties on that. They weren't able to put that stuff out on social, and they are now, which I think is an awesome improvement, Solly.
But also threesomes on the weekend and not having the full round on television. It's just like, okay, not a major. It's not a major.
It's just unserious.
I know.
It's just unserious.
I know. I think we should move on, even though, unless you guys have anything else in the chamber that you'd like to empty. But
somebody pointed out, you know, they made a big thing of Ronnie Yin putting for par on 18, talking about, oh my gosh, she's going to make this, and it's going to be 54 straight holes of bogey-free golf, and she bogeyed 17. Like, there were just so many.
They did that on 17 ahead of the putt that she hit, and then she missed it, and they pretended like she hadn't bogeyed it when they got
It's
to 18.
petty. You didn't see any handheld camera. Like, truly, this was a step back for the telecast from week to week this season, and this was their first major. Like, it just makes no sense to me. I
get it.
You're just turning people away. Our message board, people talking about like trying to watch with their daughter, trying to watch for themselves, and giving up. Like that's what it is. You're actively turning people away. And again, it's like, I'm sorry. I feel bad. I can't recommend this product this weekend to people. I'm
gonna play this back for you for the Chevron preview next year. Just to like, it's like me with the Ryder Cup stuff. Like, don't try to convince yourself next year. Don't do it.
Save for Soul Hype this year. Like we could just replay it again.
Yeah.
Be fired up. The one thing that
I know we're
still,
beating a dead horse, so we can move on.
I still would say complete freedom that an LPGA telecast does not have to try to be a make-believe PGA Tour telecast.
Yeah.
Do something new. Do something exciting. Do walk and talks. I don't know where
they were doing it on the West
they
Coast.
were.
Yeah.
I don't know where that went. I don't know why everybody feels the need to talk over caddy conversations. I don't know what's going on there, but like sometimes just laying out and being exciting, just get excited. I don't know why people. It's Nelly Korda. She won a major. Like,
No,
why wasn't that felt?
It was one
I
of the
was
most boring
taking
golf tournaments I've
ambient
ever watched.
noise
Yeah.
all day. And Bones. I don't want to throw Bones into this because Bones is trying. But I would have taken ambient noise just watching. Yeah. Let me just hear the sounds.
Yeah, just give me something to, connect me to it. I just want to feel like, it's not something just playing in the background. And AT&T, those folks, they believe in connecting people to greater possibilities. They do that through a network that keeps people meaningfully connected to those who matter most, friends, family, and more. So the moments that matter feel closer and clearer, because it's not just about being more connected. It's about being better connected wherever life takes you. When the connection matters, it has to be AT&T. To find out more, head to att.com/connect to change. AT&T, connecting changes everything. Not my best there. That wasn't my best, but we were looking for an off ramp out of that one. I think we could have gone for that.
Yeah, sorry.
On the PGA Tour, the Fitzpatrick brothers shot a best ball 57 on Saturday to grab a 4-shot lead going into Sunday over Davis Thompson and Austin Eckroat. It was an up and down day for the Fitzpatricks, of course, switching back to alternate shot in the final round. Fair amount of bad golf between the two of them on the back nine. Their 4-shot lead dwindled down when they made double on the 12th hole. It looked like Matt Fitzpatrick did not want his brother to get a tour card. They bogeyed the 14th hole as well, which put them back into a tie for the lead. Alex hit a great approach shot into the par 3 17th, but Matt hit a poor putt there. Alex put Matt in the greenside bunker 35 yards away on the 18th green, and Fitz hit just a nasty spinner out of the bunker to tap in range. And the fifth, they go on to win by 1 shot. Alex Fitzpatrick gets a PGA Tour card, is exempt through 2028 and into the signature events. I think we have the clip of the shot, Cody. This one, I think this one deserves a replay because it was fantastic.
All right, here we go. The third for Matt Fitzpatrick.
All golf ball. Does it spin?
Oh, what a shot!
Unreal.
I thought he thinned it.
Is that any good?
I thought when she said all golf balls, like, oh my God, that's going in the stands. It sounded like it was a lot of golf ball. But you could, if you watch that replay again, like you see it kind of like side spinning, even as it comes to rest. It had so much juice on it. But I was thinking about that. That had to be one of the weirdest pressures a professional golfer could have. The final round today for Matt, coming off the win last week, of course, won the Valspar, won the European Tour as well this year. And he's not only playing to win another event for himself, but like his brother is in on a sponsor exemption, and his brother gets a PGA Tour card exempt through 2028 with a victory, gets into the PGA Championship, gets into the signature events with a win. It had to be a completely different level of pressure. Usually you're playing for yourself, but now you're playing for your actual brother. And to watch them get it done, it was freaking awesome. That was one of the best possible outcomes for this tournament. I know it's going to make some people upset, and I that makes it even better. That makes me enjoy it even more, guys, because that was freaking theater today.
Well, so my first thought, I'm sorry, and I'll move on. That clip you just showed, the way the announcers, the excitement, and you had the crowd react, like that was more juice than we saw at any point in the Chevron all week. And that's arguably like the worst PGA Tour event of the year. So just to give you an idea of like the golf, I loved it. I'm turning into a big Fitzy guy. Yeah. Matt Fitz, obviously having a great season. This is now his 3rd win, 2nd straight. Saw him take it down in Hilton Head last week. The other thought that popped into my head, talking about like having to play well to like get your brother, who like may or may not be deserving of a PGA Tour card, like into the show. Imagine if Giannis Antetokounmpo like had to win the NBA Cup for his brother to like earn a roster spot on the Bucks or something. You know, like some real pressure here to bring your brother along. It was very cool. It was a very cool moment.
What you said, questionable whether or not he deserves it, Randy. Can I throw a couple challenges into that to begin with? One,
please.
Alex has won on the DP World Tour already this year and is 6th currently in the DP in the race to Dubai, which top 10 get PGA Tour cards already. Now that's not the same class so that he just got exempt into, but Alex was by all accounts trending into being a PGA Tour player as it stands now. Secondly, they don't win the tournament. They don't win it. Like second doesn't get you much of anything other than a decent paycheck. Of course, you don't get world ranking points for this tournament. Like it is a get in, out, get, grab, bonk shot, 80 teams, and you got to win it. Granted, your brother's playing awesome golf. He's the 3rd ranked player in the world. And yes, there's some nepotism involved in that, but you got to win it. You got to do it. Like you just go out and beat all those dudes. Like you can't tell me that guy's not a PGA Tour player. You even with a partner, you don't win a PGA Tour event and have your ability questioned as to whether or not you can be a PGA Tour player. And he made I think he made 9 birdies in the best ball portion of it. That's just me scorecard reading. He could have made more than that for all I know. And it's hard to tell in the alt shot data kind of, exactly how he compared to his brother there. But he just won the Hero Indian Open, had another top 10 on the DP World Tour, and now goes and does this. Like you must tip your cap here. There's some bad comps being made out there with a different tour as to this kind of exemption or whatever it is. But like the guy earned it by winning. I have zero issue with any of this.
You're exactly right. Okay. I will in the moment mea culpa, perhaps too strong to say not deserving a PGA Tour card. I guess where I was like a little like, wait a second, he gets into all the signature events for winning a team competition with his 3rd ranked brother. I think that's maybe what was like, I don't know about that, but I was not familiar. I know he's in the Fedora 5, and I think we have an update here in just a second, maybe on TC's Fedora 5. Hand up was not that aware that Alex was playing that well on the DP World Tour. So I will walk that back in the moment. Thank you, Solly.
I think it's fair in a vacuum that like, wow, you win that and you get into all of these events. But I think there's also a little bit of realism in how things work, in that Zurich is one of the companies, and this event is one of the events that is doing something different, which a lot of us have asked for. It's not my favorite event still, the team format, but usually the Sunday is pretty exciting, and it's a lot to keep track of with all the different golfers you're looking up at. And wait, who's paired with? It's a lot, but there still needs to be like some a little bit of a carrot with this event to get a sponsor to sign up for it. And like the Masters invite goes away, is gone away with this event. Correct me if I'm wrong. I could be. I don't believe you get a Masters invite for winning this one. Like you need to have something that gives a company a reason. I guess gives the tournament a good pitch to players to come and play in it, right? And I'm fine with that being part of it because there are some stresses to the PGA Tour system. There have been in the last couple of years. Like I don't think it's hurting anything to have Alex added into the signature events. Like the guy won a PGA Tour event. And I know it's a team format, but like you still got to hit the shots, and you can't. There's no one person team that wins this thing.
That's fair. That's fair. Yeah, they're still doing sponsors invites into the signature event, so I guess I can't have like that big of a problem.
2-year exemption, no Masters invite. He does get invited to the PGA Championship based off of it, though, which is interesting, and the players. So he's set there. Is that TC's music?
I think that's TC's music.
We need the Timmy trumpet. We got our guy. He is hot in the bullpen.
He's been warming up a long time. Hello, TC. Calling in from across the pond. How are you?
Good day, mate. Or that's all. Crack on.
Pond.
Yeah. God, no, you don't get a Masters invite.
I froze in the moment. I'm like, oh God, please don't tell me you get the Masters for winning this one. But
I will say, Alex Fitzpatrick won the DLF this year. He won the Indian Open. He won a National Open, Randy, and that course has not won a DP World Tour event this year. Solly, you He said Matt has won a DP World.
When did he win recently?
He won one late last year.
Oh, okay. Was it this season though?
No,
that's what I'm thinking of. Okay.
Yeah.
Apologies.
Anyway, they're at the top of the Fedora 5. Bottom line. Period. Point blank.
And that is a new move, right? That was just announced this weekend.
That's a new move. So last week, this is the second week in a row we've had the Fedora 5. Last week was Rory, Scotty, Cam Young, Jackson Koiven, and then P and the Fitzpatrick brothers were tied for 5th.
Wow, big jump.
Big jump. And I actually announced it this morning, Randy.
That's what it was.
So even before they won. So but yeah, we've got the Fitzpatrick brothers. We've got Koiven moving up to 2nd. Another
fair.
win for him. He just keeps winning. He just won't stop winning. This was what I would classify as a big dick event as well. And then we've got Rory bumping down to 3, and he's going to be idle again this week, which it's fine. I think we're going to see it play out what we talked about quite a bit after the Masters of him playing a pretty light schedule from a PGA Tour perspective this year. And then we've got Cam Young. I've dropped Scotty out. I need to see more from Scotty. And
Totally fair.
And then P remains at 5. I'm still bullish on P. I think P at Aronimink is gonna be tasty. Is he in Aronimink?
Who can say?
Yeah, I would have to think so, right? He'd be OWGR. He's up there in the OWGR. I think he's like top 50 in the world, isn't he? Like he's definitely
okay. I think he is, but either way.
Are you good with Fitz's Alex Fitzpatrick status?
Oh, I love it. I bet the mules are gonna just be beating up player relations and I think Kirsten Burge, who does all the eligibility stuff at the tour all week. So it's delightful.
Reed is in the PGA officially. Special exemptions typically given to anybody inside the top 100 of the OWGR as of May 4th, 2026, and he's 22nd in the world right now. So he's gonna by a mile.
Problem.
There you go. And then Sally, you're kind of skipping over it, but 2 pairs of European teammates in the top 5 at the Zurich. Pair of Danes, pair of Norwegians. I'm just saying, get them on the team.
And Englishmen as well.
Yeah, and Englishmen. And then Penge and Wallace had a couple good rounds together as well. So a lot of green shoots out there, Sally.
Yeah, I don't have the energy to fight this anymore, TC, especially as we get into our next topic. We don't have a lot on the Zurich today, if you guys are ready to get into. We got a lot of news and notes to clear up here for the rest of today. One of those being that Jim Furyk has been named the new United States Ryder Cup captain. What?
I'm sorry, TC. Your keyboard is so loud.
They're coming through. It's coming through my AirPods. I promise.
Anyways, back to the topic. Jim Furyk is named the Ryder Cup captain here for the United States. Are you shaking in your boots yet, TC? Are you terrified?
I am. It's 2018. Maybe the second time's the charm. Fool me once, Solly. Shame on Jim. Fool me twice. Shame on you, Solly. Fool me 3 times, not going to get fooled again.
No.
Meanwhile, Dodo's been setting up his little fun house over at Adair Manor for months now. I don't know. Like we don't have it. Like I like Jim, but Stu Sink can't get a look. Nobody else can get a look.
Can I ask a question for the audience? Solly, Antron. I know Furyk was the captain when they lost in France at Le Golf National. What was the takeaway? Was the captain, was he to blame? I know you were like, they set it up. They were always going to win. Like how much responsibility did Captain Jim bear that week?
I'd say a fair amount. I don't think he brought the best possible team that he could have. I think a fair amount fell against him, just the way that the late season calendar kind of went. Bryson won 2 playoff events and was one of the 4 captain's picks. I do not see a world where you don't take him. Like, it would have been a Billy Horschel 2014 situation all over again. Like, how can you not take the guy that just won twice? Tiger had just won the Tour Championship the week before, and he was a captain's pick. Like, how are you not bringing Tiger along? Of course, you're bringing him. Phil was the questionable one, but Phil had been on every team ever to that point. He was a different player in 2018, and look, you get to that, you get there, and you're like, oh, this is a disaster for Phil. But
bring Phil next year.
And Big Tone was the 4th captain's pick, and Tone played well. And the pairings that he threw out were bad. They were really bad, especially in foursomes. If you've listened to our podcast we did with Duncan Carey after the last Ryder Cup, like, he basically said, like, as soon as he saw the foursomes pairing, he said, like, oh, Team Europe basically said, we won. Like, we won. We've out-chessed them because they clearly don't know what they're doing to handle this golf course. I will say this. When I saw the news, I rolled my eyes. I was like, oh my God, what are we doing? But I read Shane Ryan's, he wrote a great article for Golf Digest. I thought about this a little more, and I think there's I'd rather they do this than do the Stu Cink thing you're talking about, TC, or do the Justin Leonard thing, or do something that somebody that hasn't done this before, that doesn't jump off the page to me as somebody that's going to upset the apple cart and own the process. I'd rather take my chance with someone that has done it, failed, and can show the opportunity to learn. Now, listen, was Jim 2-7 playing in Ryder Cup? Were his teams 2-7 in the Ryder Cups that he played? Yes. Was he 10-20 and like 3, I think, career record as a Ryder Cup player? Yes. Is he 0-1 as a captain? Yes. Has he been assistant captain on multiple losing teams? Yes. But that doesn't mean it has to be a failure and that he's an idiot. I don't think Jim's an idiot at all. I think he's a smart guy, and I like Jim a lot. And I think that I think that he feels a debt to Team USA, that he wants to overcome all of the failures of the teams that he played on, even the ones that he kept. I just think he loves this process and really genuinely cares about it a ton. And it's more of a reflection of how bad the PGA of America has mismanaged this whole thing, that there wasn't really a good option available than it is like I don't want to pre-indict Jim for the 2027 captaincy. I think he's like falling on a sword here of like, we're kind of screwed. We're going across to Dodo's Funhouse. We're going to be massive underdogs. Shane said he's like, there's a 5% chance that Team USA wins. I don't know if I necessarily agree with that, but it's a tough one. But it like at least gets you back on the track of the task force, and it really does pull back the curtain for how batshit fucking crazy it was to have put Keegan in the captaincy last year, which was one of the great own goals of our time. I mean, it just a complete obliteration of the process they hit us over the head with. The task force, we're rolling assistant captains up through this whole thing, and you're going to get experience, and we're going to do a system, and we're all going to do it the same way, and blah blah blah. We've learned from Europe and just lit it on fire. So Kiz could be an assistant captain, so Gary Woodland could be an assistant captain, so they could fuck up the course setup, so they could not even come close to just defending. They came close at the very end, but like they got obliterated on home soil. One of the worst captaincies of all time. Like that was what they did, and now they almost have to like work backwards into getting somebody back on track into whatever system they were setting up. I don't know if this is going to work necessarily, but it maybe puts you on a better track to getting the groundwork laid for 2029 at Hazeltine.
I love it. I love all of this.
I think honestly, Shane kind of flipped me on it. It's a great article on golfdigest.com. I don't know if you guys got a chance to read it, but it is like, dude, what else were you going to do? Like, I don't think it necessarily.
I thought it was so defeatist.
They should let
that's
the
where we're
creators
at.
Be the captain.
What'd you say?
They should let the creators be the captain. Have like a contest.
Or bring Tom Watson back. Let him be the captain.
Or bring Tom back. Instill a little discipline in the locker room.
Yeah, they panicked after Davis Love brought in Tom Watson. That couldn't have been a bigger disaster. They panicked after Zach Johnson obliterated things in Rome and brought in Keegan, and it's such a mess. The organization has no plan. Like there is no plan here. Obviously, they're desperate. They're trying to figure anything out here.
Sully, what if they brought Poulter in to be the captain? Like Poulter's never going to be on another European team. They
That's
don't win anywhere
spicy,
near.
TC.
You know? It's like,
I was planning to bring up Poulter later on, not necessarily in this capacity. So this is a little bit of a surprise and a curveball, but yeah, if you can't tell, I'm at rock bottom with Team USA. I
think there's a couple more layers under this that we can get to.
How far away are we? Like a year and a half?
Yeah. I don't think you can hurt me though. That's where I'm kind of at. I'm kind of like when the Reds bottomed out in 2022, Randy. I'm like, all right, let's tear it down. Let's lose 100 games. Let's build back better from there.
God, I still remember sitting in that RV at Whistling Straits. And you're just like, yeah, I think this is like, it's gonna be like a decade plus of dominance.
It should have been. It should have been. If they don't take ZJ to Italy, it should. I firmly believe it should have been. ZJ's captaincy was so bad that they blew up the plan and put Keegan in place and then lost a home Ryder Cup. It could not have fallen out worse from that RV at Whistling Straits. And I blame ZJ for almost all of it, actually. Keegan, it's not Keegan's fault. It's ZJ's fault for being such a bad captain that they felt like that anybody that was on his staff couldn't possibly be the next captain at home. It's one of the biggest follies in the history of this event.
What if they brought Mickelson in and it's almost like a Bud Kilmer situation? Like the guys want to win in spite of him. And
kind of like Herb Brooks, you know, if everybody rallies together to hate the captain,
exactly.
They won't have time to hate each other.
Yeah.
I'm open to anything. I'm open
TC,
to anything.
those are two of the most provocative ideas, Mickelson and Poulter. Like, I love where your head's at. Would love to get you on the task force.
Otherwise, we're just gonna get this steady stream of just
it's the worst. It's so boring.
Snedeker.
Yeah. It's so tame. I know.
It's going to come down to, does Jim feel, if he's sitting here right now and feels like he knows what to do, he's almost already done it wrong. It's almost like, I think you need a more of a period of information gathering and AAR from where it has gone wrong in the past. And like, he's got to do it differently than he did in 18, and he's got to learn from the experience. And the entire organization has a ways to go in understanding what they need to do to go up against a competitor that's willing to do absolutely fucking anything to win this. And I'd be surprised if they got there. I'd be stunned if they got there by 2027, but I don't have a better answer for what they should have done right here. I don't think Tiger was ever the answer. I'm on record with that one. The only other recommendation I've had that seems to get nowhere, or it doesn't seem to be on the radar, is Hunter Mahan. I've never heard anybody speak about the Ryder Cup as clearly as Hunter Mahan does in terms of what the Team USA needs to do. He probably needs a run as an assistant captain in some way, but I hope Hunter Mahan is an assistant captain for Jim Furyk. He played on Ryder Cup teams, at least one Ryder Cup team with Jim Furyk in 08, and I think he should be involved in the process in some way. That's I think
you should bring in Mike Tomlin too. Mike Tomlin's not doing anything right now.
Maybe Pittsburgh Mike Vrabel will be available then.
Vrabel's got time.
Leaders of men. Yeah.
God damn it. All right.
God, this is gonna be a tough 16 months for Solly.
It's not. You can't hurt me. You cannot hurt me. There's nothing you could do to hurt me. I'm at rock bottom.
I got a question. How much longer do you think they were planning on delaying this announcement before they had fucking LD and Dodo over their last league? Like, wow, guys, what the fuck, man? Like, we got to get this out there now. Just pick Furyk.
I had heard it was going to be Snedeker, and I don't know if that was the actual case. That seemed like a really tough turnaround to do President's Cup and Ryder Cup in back-to-back years. We've not seen that done. But yeah, I don't know. Long ways to go. I think there's going to have to be something go horribly wrong on the European side for them to have a chance. You're going to need like a big injury and the Rom thing to not work out in some way. And then you have a chance maybe to compete. Otherwise, if Europe shows up at full strength as it stands here now, I don't see a world where that happens. But I've learned my lesson. You don't need to replay the tape from Italy. We're not doing it.
Okay.
On other news around men's golf, a round of layoffs hit the PGA Tour on Thursday. This is from Josh Carpenter at Sports Business Journal. They laid off 56 full-time employees on Thursday as the organization goes through a right-sizing amid its new for-profit structure. This was according to people with knowledge of the tour's operations. The 56 jobs represent about 4% of total staff, which numbers more than 1,300 globally. Said in addition to the layoffs, the PGA Tour is not filling 73 open roles that had been posted. The tour next week plans to reallocate some of the lost positions and reinvest in 30-plus new full-time roles, including some senior-level jobs. So despite the move, tour sources say the organization was profitable in 2025 and believe it remains on a strong financial footing moving forward. And then the moves on Thursday came after the tour offered voluntary retirement late last year, of which 30 employees took part. TC, we knew this was coming. This was in the news. What's your reaction kind of to this news?
Yeah, obviously people's lives and livelihoods affected, but I think definitely lighter than what I think a lot of people thought was coming, including Ian Poulter, who we referenced earlier. That was crazy. I think with any leadership change, you're going to get a change in strategy. And I mean, I'd be lying if I like tried to distance ourselves from, like, we've talked for the last 8-9 years about how behind the times and bloated and in the wrong spots the PGA Tour is. So I think reallocating some resources and positions and kind of rearranging some deck chairs is a natural evolution. And I'm sure they're going to beef up the championship management side of things even more as they try to take on various tournaments here and there. Few people I was kind of surprised not to see go, if we're being honest. But I think that, I'm sure there'll be some other kind of waves of this. But yeah, I think FTI Consulting was who Roll Up had used at the NFL and brought them in here. And so, various people I talked to said they thought the cuts were going to go deeper, if anything. So, I think just natural course of things with a leadership change, between any organization, especially one that's evolving and changing as rapidly as the PGA Tour right now.
Yeah, I think that's well said. Brian Rolap stood up at the Tour Championship last year and said, expect significant change to the organization. I would say there's like a 0% chance that meant that wasn't going to come in a change of resources of some kind. They're going to have to if they're changing the model, they've gone to a for-profit model. They're changing the competitive structure and how that's going to work. They're changing a lot with the organization. And of course, the conversation online around this I found pretty disconnected from reality and how things work. And it's never fun when people lose jobs. And of course, we have empathy for those that are affected. But like an audit of what's working from an employment perspective at the PGA Tour and what isn't is not like, it's not indicating anything necessarily about the financial viability of the PGA Tour model. Like, it's such a drastic leap. Like, if you're, how many people did I say were let go?
56, I think.
56. I mean,
4% of the work.
Probably under $10 million in annual salaries. And like the conversation from a certain corner of the internet was like, that the live news was fake and planted to distract from the PGA Tour failing. Because they had to cut around $10 million worth of salary. That's a complete out of the thin air estimate. I have no idea what the total is.
And by the way, they're going to rehire and hire other positions. And yeah, it's truly like it's change. It's not just cuts for cuts sake, I don't think.
So yeah, I'm very, very good on live players, specifically Ian Poulter, that have enrich themselves beyond anyone's wildest dreams, using like people losing their jobs for clout, like for social clout. Like this is politics or something. Like the narrative, it was clear. Like there was like a live distribution list that went out after the horrible live news came out, that it was like, all the live bot accounts were throwing out, oh, this is a distraction from the PGA Tour. Firing 500 people. Ian Poulter went online. Not only did he discredit everyone's reporting around that, he said it's simply staggering the amount of bullshit that pours out daily. Such a shame and disappointing. I guess it will make for a good book one day. That was a tweet he sent out last week, replying to the very, very descriptive live reporting that has not been actually disputed. Then he went multiple tweets. He said here in replies to the news that the PGA Tour would not be going to Hawaii anymore. He said, here comes the cost-cutting exercise from private equity funding. Next up, you'll tell us something silly like the PGA Tour are going to lay off 500 members of staff. He sent another tweet later, said, "Here comes a private equity cost-cutting exercise. I'm sure next they'll be laying off 500 members of staff." He then replied to the news that around 50 people were laid off, said it's not good to hear about people losing jobs. That's not ideal for them at all. Hope they aren't affected too bad and find roles elsewhere quickly. I heard the number was significantly larger. Hopefully not true. So again, he started this week by saying that it's staggering the amount of bullshit that pours out daily. Then threw out multiple tweets saying 500 people were being laid off, that hundreds of thousands of people saw, never bothered to correct the record on all of that. And I knew these people were just behaving in a very despicable way over the last several years. And that one like sent me over the edge. That was just like one of the lamest things I've ever seen from a tour pro on a social media perspective. It just, there's no links these guys will not
Have you
go
seen
to.
Bill's Twitter account in the last several years?
There's no links these people will not go to try to win
Oh,
this.
I'm worried. You might be
battle.
you might need to pull out from the discourse, man. I just don't know.
Too online, man.
Yeah, you might be too online.
I don't know what we're supposed to just like ignore all of this. I
think so. I think that would be the healthiest.
Sully, I will say the one thing that I will give them a little bit of slack on is I do think that some of the reporting from Monday Q Info, Ryan French last week, like he got virtually every fucking detail wrong on it and is just totally skated free on that stuff. And I think Bloomberg and Brody at The Athletic had great reporting, flew down to Mexico and did all of that. But I do think that, like, you know, if we're going to want him to correct the record on something like that, then, you know, if somebody gets a lot of details wrong of, you know, Liv shutting down this week or imminently, like, I think that's, you know, we probably have to call it both ways there too, right?
Yes, in a way, TC. I think like you have what he initially threw out. You have a dark period which I thought some of Brody's reporting actually filled in some details of like, it sounds like it was in question there. And a little bit of jumping the gun of saying, take the under on whether or not this event's going to happen.
It's the jumping the gun and the emphasis on being first.
That definitely was there. There's an imminent bombshell announcement coming, which never happened, and take the under on whatever their next event is that's paraphrasing it. And neither of those things ended up being true, which gives everyone on the other side an easy thing to point to of fake news and Arlo White and David Faraday and all that stuff. And conveniently allows them to ignore the very buttoned up and accurate reporting from all of the other entities, right? That is the dog whistle, I guess, out there for everyone to rally around. So I'll agree with you there. But if we'll get into this now, Brody Miller's on the ground report from Mexico. This was for The Athletic, and this came out Monday, and I'll summarize some of what he wrote there. But basically, because of the last-minute nature of the visit, Brody, who went down to the event, was without a media credential. He bought a ticket for Thursday. He said he was struggling to get Liv staffers on the phone with the chaotic nature of the week. But as Liv staffers began to return calls, he got a credential for Friday and Saturday. But when walking around Friday, a Liv security worker stopped him, pulled out his phone, and showed him a company chat with a large photo of his headshot and said, "You need to come with me." That there was a security alert sent out on him. And it sounds like he made a phone call and like, oh, he's good now. He's good today. Okay, never mind. All right, no, you're free to go. And Liv executives adamantly denied knowing anything about it or knowing that he was in Mexico City on Thursday, which of course can't be true if his picture has been circulated through Liv security. But he goes through in great detail about how O'Neill was under the tree at Augusta. Everything's great. We've talked about this the last couple of weeks of we're funded through 2032. We're meeting with Roll-Up. Everything's great. But by that Sunday afternoon, by Masters Sunday afternoon, he wrote, the situation changed in part due to the U.S. war with Iran. Leadership team members were told their positions were at risk. And during a mad dash of meetings in New York City and Mexico City, O'Neill and his leadership team attempted to ensure PIF would at least fund the league through the remainder of the 2026 season. Sources speaking to The Athletic on the condition of anonymity because they were not authorized to speak publicly said that funding came down to the wire. So it was coming down to the wire whether or not Mexico was even going to happen. And that I had not seen that reported that specifically anywhere until Brody reported that. He also noted that not one Liv official was willing to go on the record with The Athletic, despite the many public shots Liv folks have taken at the reporting on the ground around this incident. That's my wording there. And also reported in that in the center of the putting green before the first round, the league's two largest stars by a wide margin, Bryson DeChambeau and Jon Rahm, were seen having a lengthy private chat. The ever-demonstrative DeChambeau energetically spoke with his hands as Rahm listened and seemed to ask questions. This multifaceted symbol of the league's strength and vulnerability couldn't be ignored. At least a dozen other golfers were clearly distracted by what was taking place. Said Liv attempted to provide DeChambeau to the Athletic Saturday, but DeChambeau seemed frustrated after his 2 over par round, declined to speak, even uncharacteristically walked past autograph-seeking kids, then withdrew from Liv Mexico City on Sunday morning, citing a wrist injury. Said he'll return for Liv Virginia in 2 weeks. So
also that they almost had to delay the shotgun start because those two were still having that chat, which is crazy. No, I mean, it definitely sounds like everything was in flux, and it just sounds like, again, it was in flux, right? It wasn't a certainty. It wasn't a,
right,
hey, this thing's shutting down imminently kind of thing.
But excellent work from Brody. I recommend everybody go read that article at The Athletic and making that trip and just color. And then everything else starts to make a lot more sense with a few of those details he has in there. And
I also didn't realize that Brett Baer and Sharkey were so tight as well. So I think that's where Brett Baer was getting some of his info.
Brett was the one that said definitely. That's the one that I'm like,
exactly.
Oh shit, I guess I'm going with Brett Baer. He's gonna put his reputation on the line with that one. Definitely done with funding after 2026. So Bryson spoke with the journalistic entity Flushing at Golf. He technically said some words. I don't know if he really spoke.
Damn it, Solly, I forgot. I'm in the UK. I didn't let Flushing it know before I got here. I forgot to mob up, guys. So
you better watch your back.
God, you're not mobbed up right now. Man.
Bryson said there's a lot of moving parts like in any business. It's a startup, right? And so there are going to be times where we're squeezed and punched. This is one of those moments, but I'm going to do everything in my power to make it work. And I really see the value in franchise golf. This is not just for myself and the team aspect that I really believe in on the Crusher side. It's for Michael Lasasso. It's for Caleb Surratt. It's for Joselle Ballester. It's for David Puig, John, Phil, DJ, myself, and the guys that have been here from the start. We're okay. It's now our responsibility to take care of these kids that believe in us. That's why I'm really doing it. There's so much value to squeeze out of this whole thing for golf in general. Also said, we're still working on a potential contract. I haven't given up on that, and I think there will be a solution. But as of right now, my job is to help make the league work after this year. I just feel like I have a responsibility. I've put a lot of effort into it, so that's what I'm going to do. We're going to and he said, as long as Liv is here, I would figure out a way for it to make sense. So I expect Bryson to play for free next year by that. Exactly. I mean, he may even fund this thing based on that. I think this pretty much confirms that Bryson's doesn't need to seek a $500 million contract from Liv. I think that's those circles were getting very frustrated that people weren't widely reporting what that Bryson had put an end to all of it. Like, we're good to go here. It's like, hey, we still got some pretty big questions here about Liv Golf's future. And I actually read it the other way. It's like, as long as Liv is here, I would figure out a way for it to make sense. It was like, oh, so we are exploring the fact that Liv might not be here, Bryson, because I don't know if that's been said out loud by Scott O'Neill or anyone else at this point. So,
well, it was, then they scrubbed it.
Well, he said we're funded through 2026. He did not intimate. He did not like say out loud, like, as long as we're here. He's still publicly working under the assumption, like, yes, we're going to be playing next year. And Bryson was kind of the first one to say, like, if it's here, I'll be playing. Which is like, oh, okay. So maybe the reporting wasn't so wrong last week, guys.
Solly, I think we're bearing the lead here. OKGC.
I knew you were going to go straight to that.
I mean, that's the news of the week, right?
Team Smash, my favorite team, has rebranded the world's on the world's golf tour. They've rebranded to the Oklahoma Golf Club. Yeah,
which is funny that Peter Uihlein went to Oklahoma State. He's not on the Oklahoma golf team. Randy, who's your team in Liv?
I think I was a range goats guy.
Okay.
Maybe a high flyer in the very beginning with Phil, but yeah, I forget. I took the quiz at one point. I honestly, I kind of forget.
It's very funny that like the tour's going to Doral this week, and like a year ago, Liv was at Doral. So the tour is going back to, obviously the tour went to Doral for many decades, but just thinking of just a year ago, like, Doral and what the Rippers won down in Doral and like this week's going to be fucking bizarre.
It's going to be a weird one. Yeah.
Put your big boy pants on, Randy.
It's going to be a big one. A lot of people skipping. Rory skipping a second straight signature event here. I think 5 of the top 15 I read are not going to be in the field this week. Is this what do you make of that, TC? Is this a scheduling issue? We kind of, I mean, it was pretty easy to point at the schedule when it came out. This 5 out of 6 week stretch was going to be a pretty massive problem for a lot of guys, and it was not expected that everyone would play all of this stuff. But it's also hard for me to get worked up about it, knowing everything's going to be changed in some form or fashion in 2028. But I have a thought on that as well.
Who else is skipping?
I think I don't have the list in front of me, so apologies. I should have gotten prepared on that one, but I know I can pull it up on Data Golf and see. Like, it's Scotty, then it goes Cam Young, Russell Henley are the top Data Golf players, then Morikawa, then Fleetwood. So also skipping, that would be Rory is skipping, Fitz is skipping.
Fitz has played a lot of golf.
He's played 3 weeks in a row. That makes it Xander skipping, looks like, as well. So that you have Quail Hollow the next week, and then we're right at the PGA Championship. So,
and basically anybody who's going to play CJ, like I'm kind of surprised to see Scotty playing.
He's not. Or he is.
He's not. Oh,
he is playing. Sorry.
Playing? Okay.
He is. Yep.
Like
he's not playing Quail Hollow. He's skipping next week.
Oh, he's skipping Quail. Okay.
Yeah,
that makes sense.
So we're getting three signature events without Scotty and Rory playing together in them. Which I'm of two minds on the Rory thing. Like Rory was kind of the inventor of the signature event model, and he pushed really hard for everyone to have to play all of them, and was beaten on that and voted out on that by the players. It was originally you can skip one, was the original agreement in the model. Now it's you can play whatever you want in that. I'm kind of like, one side of my brain is like, dude, you wanted everyone to play all of these, like kind of need you to play in these. You invented these sponsors ponied up the money for them. The other side's kind of like, you tried to get everyone to play them and they fought you on it. So why wouldn't you take advantage of the rule as well and how it's set up? And clearly he's focused on the majors and he's going to do whatever he wants, to try to be as ready for Aronimink as possible. But it's just a bummer. Like I just, something went wrong here with the schedule and just having it fall out the way it is with 3 signature events between majors, and not good commitment from all the top players.
I think Rory ships out as far as like, all right, like I'm not putting my heart and soul into this tour anymore. Like between Jay leaving him out to dry and other stuff. So I'm surprised. I'm a little surprised Scotty's not skipping this one. Instead of, like, he won the PGA Championship at Quail Hollow last year.
I think that, but I'm guessing CJ has something to do with that.
Yeah,
like that. He doesn't play 3 in a row. Would be my guess. Yeah, but I bring this up because I've been looking into kind of, we're going to do a podcast here in the future on a proposed 2028 schedule, and it's harder to put together than you might think with the volume of events that Roll-Up's talking about in the window that he's describing between Super Bowl Sunday and Labor Day. And before Labor Day, like it's like 29 weeks if I have my count right. And if we're talking about 22 big time events, like only 7 down weeks in there is different and tight. And they're gonna have to figure out getting all of the tour guys to agree on what they're willing to play in a row and how they want to do things leading up into majors and after majors is going to be a challenge. And I don't know how they're going to end up getting that through, or what the rules are going to be on commitments to all these events.
What sounds like, I mean, based on Roll-Up's comments in March, it sounds like it's not like you don't have to show up, but we're going to write the rules, and we're going to write the incentives as such that you're going to fall behind. You're going to be very disincentivized if you don't show up.
Yeah. So you should start docking points if you don't show up.
Yeah. That'd be sick.
In other news, Hawaii off the schedule officially, as reported earlier this week. We knew that was coming. Sony likely to become a Champions Tour event.
God, the olds will love that.
All right, Solly, do they need
Week out in Hawaii?
Do they need to lower the Champions Tour like age to 45 or something. I feel like we're just going to start getting these rudderless mules that are just languishing in the slack, in the trade winds between about 44 and 50, and then they go and play a little bit of Corn Ferry Tour or pick off some sponsor exemptions, or you rely on those guys to play the B track events that aren't, among those 18 that Rolab said.
Yeah. 45 is a big leap.
Mid-Am Tour.
I wouldn't be so if they ever did that. I would think they'd kind of have to age it. Like it would kind of suck if you just turned 50, and then or like almost kind of like, all right, this year's class 49 gets in. This next year's class is 48. Because like if you just turned 50 and then all of a sudden they're letting 45-year-olds in at the same time as you, is going to be like, fuck, that sucks. Also, who cares about the Champions Tour?
This is more Champions Tour discussion than I ever want to have. I did see Ben Crane and Rory Sabatini on the leaderboard though for the Champions. Didn't know they
ZJ's cleaning up right now.
Yeah.
Brian Gay.
I think Retief won. Did Retief win today?
JD.
Royal Lytham, per Jamie Corrigan, is the favorite to get the 2028 Open Championship, which we'll see that again later this year for the AIG Women's Open. Great. This is great. I thought Lytham was maybe potentially, it has been out of the Rota for some time. This will be the first time since 2012 it's got one. And I thought maybe it would come in a post rollback world. But good. Northwest England gets a lot of majors up there, TC, but this is a very major worthy venue, and I'm excited for this one.
Yeah, you guys were talking about the number of bunkers. I think it's 100. I always thought it was 250 something. It's 171 or 178. It's in that.
Really?
That's so many, though.
I've been saying 252 for like a
That's
decade now.
what it's which like I don't feel like it should be that hard to count them up, and I can't find a straight answer anywhere on the internet.
Cody is saying 167.
Okay, and there's 20 alone.
Wikipedia. Don't hold me to it.
Oh,
yeah. There's Cody 20 on
Wikipedia.
Like 17 or 18. I mean, 18's like it's one of the most well bunkered holes I've ever seen. And then Martin Dempster reported that it was between Lytham and Royal St. George's, which sounds, I mean, Muirfield was widely presumed to be kind of next up. But I'm assuming that the club either doesn't want to do the changes that the RNA is pushing for with regard to, just letting Ebert and Mackenzie bless their golf course, as well as just do some stuff for, I think a lot of it comes down to number of spectators and how big the build out can be. But yeah, I don't know. I'm stoked for Lytham though, because I was worried Lytham was falling by the wayside, and it's not. That needs to be in the Rota.
Other news: average shot times are going to become public on the Corn Ferry Tour. TC, I cannot imagine how excited you were.
Awesome
about this one. This came from Sean Zock. Was the first place I saw it. It's going to include a ranking of the fastest and slowest players, times by shot category, and one of the objectives is to change the negative perception around the speed of play, and is a step towards the same treatment coming to the PGA Tour as well. I retweeted that if you need to see the full article as well from golf.com. It's on our timeline as well. So that'll be fun. It's long overdue.
Hopefully it goes well. Would love to see every major tour do this. I think it's
transparency. Sunshine is the best disinfectant, Randy.
Yes.
Last thing I had, again, we kind of have to do this now that Scott O'Neill is putting together a business plan for Liv that is going to be entering the market with this. We must report the ratings from last week. Heritage got 4.35 million viewers, was the fourth most sports watch program that weekend. All the others in the top 10 were basketball. Liv averaged 49,000 viewers on Sunday for the final round on FS1. That's down from.
Is that big data though, Solly?
I don't know. Yeah, I'm assuming that's big data there. They're down from 110,000 in the prior year. They did have big Friday and Saturday numbers for them on Fox, 396 and 333,000 on Friday and Saturday, respectively. But an over 50% decline on their final round Sunday on FS1. But I'm sure Scott can sell that. I'm sure that's totally normal and totally fine. And this is business. That's business.
It had to be people just curious, like what the hell is going on with Liv being in the news so
And
much.
Chapultepec.
Yeah, and just the shared prosperity.
If I was Bryson, I'd be like, dude, I withdrew for round 4, and your ratings like price just went up again here, man.
I think that's what's so interesting. I would love to be a fly on the wall if they do an investor roadshow. If Scott goes out trying to sell, because we don't need to spend more time here, but it's like the one asset is almost Bryson, right? And getting him signed, and he wants all the money, is almost prohibitive to bringing in outside investment, because you got to sign him to such a contract. It just is. It's a loser. It's a money loser. I don't know how
the model doesn't
those
work.
two things.
Are you saying
Yeah.
it's a bad model?
Right. So anyway,
last thing, Jackson Koiven won his 3rd consecutive SEC championship and just is winning everything in sight, and is truly one of the best amateurs of modern times, and feels like we're giving a weekly update on that at this point.
is he gonna be on the Ryder Cup team?
Put him on the team.
I think he will be on the Ryder Cup team next year. Yeah, that's not even like a Ludwig leap at this point. I'd be stunned if he wasn't on the team. I mean, I don't know. You say that, you come out in the pro circuit has treated, Luke Clanton, one of your boys, TC, a little differently than we thought that was going to go.
Matt Fitzpatrick got kind of jerked around by PGA Tour U. Ended up fighting through, Alex Fitzpatrick, and ended up coming through on the other side thanks to the team event. So all good.
That's going to come close to doing it. We're going to be headed to Doral again, as we mentioned, on the PGA Tour this week for the Cadillac. LPGA Tour is off to Riviera Maya at Mayakoba. DP World Tour headed to Turkey for the Turkish Airlines Open. Here at No Laying Up, we are, we're deep into major season. We got a lot of pots on the stove. We want to take a minute and just make sure you're up to speed on what we've been churning out in a lot of different places. First up, if you haven't seen it on our on the No Laying Up YouTube channel, we got a new, or just kind of a refreshed video series out there. It's called Hitting Cups. Cody, you want to tell us a little bit about this series?
Well, yeah, we wrote this up before we knew TC was going to be in for it. So, TC, tell us, what did you do, man?
In the hitting cups or this week?
Well, no, not this week. Tell us, Hitting Cups video. Obviously,
I got a funny story for you guys from this week too. But yeah, Hitting Cups. I played the FSGA, one of the Winter Series events at the Slammer and the Squire. You must go, guys. At the
love of golf.
World Golf Hall of Fame.
I didn't ask if you found any apples out there, or chilled towels, or friends from the old commercials.
that was part of the cutback. So.
Okay.
36 hole event. The video focuses on your second round, though.
Yeah, I shot like 83 in the first round. I made a lot of pars. Unfortunately, I made like 4 doubles that day as well. Huber and DJ broke down my second round. It's electric, very volatile. It felt like I was playing golf in a every hole was independent from the other holes. There was no momentum or anything like that, but it was challenging. The lack of grass down there in January, tough. And then actually I played an FSGA, the Florida Mid-Am qualifier this week on Wednesday at the other course, the King and the Bear down there. And got off to a slow start. We didn't film this one or anything. Got off to a slow start. Had my Arccos on and everything. I was all stoked. First competitive round with that. Bogey the first 2 holes. Couple good up and downs. I was hitting my irons like horribly. Couple good up and downs. Birdie 14. It's par 5. Good par on 15. Get to 16. I'm 248 yards out from the stick. Middle of the fairway. It's like 230 to cover, 228, 230 to cover. And I like big pond there. And I fucking rinsed it, just clanked it off the rocks in front of the green. And I'm thinking there's like 65 guys in the field for about 5 spots. And so I'm thinking, all right, I've probably got to shoot even 1 under, maybe 1 over gets through. So I'm like, listen, I just got to drop one here. There was really nowhere else to drop. Like it was either there or go 20 yards up and dropped next to the lake. So I just reloaded, and Neil's Augusta pod was ringing in my head of like, hit the shot, TC, hit the shots. So I'm it's kind of one of those, like, no caddy or anything. It's just me. I'm playing with two other delightful guys, and they, I'm like, hey guys, I'm just gonna redrop one here, just rinse that one. And at that point, I'm like, at this point, I'm out of the tournament. I just want to hit the shot, drop another one, rinse that one. So at that point, I finally hit one. Finally go through a full sleeve. Finally hit one up short right of the green, about 40 yards short right. Hit a nasty little wedge to like 7 feet. Missed the putt. Made an 11. And then yeah, and then hit one to like 12 feet on the next hole. I was kind of spiraling at that point, so I 3-putted from 12 feet, and then I was just humming on the back nine. Like, you guys are following along. You're like,
well,
holy
you're
shit,
texting us during it. Like, what are you doing? Like, focus. Put your phone away.
Yeah, fuck. I mean, I made an 11. Like, I was like, man, that was exhilarating.
You hit the shot though.
I hit the shot. I really didn't even hit the shot.
I don't know. It sounds like it was kind of a layup. Still.
Yeah, well, then I made a couple birdies on the back, or made one birdie on the back, and then came in, I think, and wiped one into the water on, I think, my 15th hole. But otherwise, like, I think I shot 81 with an 11. So I was like, holy shit, I want to go play more tournaments. This is awesome. So it was, yeah, that was pretty invigorating. And then, yeah, flew over here the next day, and I played south. I took a look around. I had my driver fitting at the Titleist Woburn facility. Got fit into my GTS 3. I'm already playing with it. I switched to a 4-wood. Solid, the turf over here. I feel like I'm back. I played Southport and Ainsdale yesterday. I had a walk around Cleve Hill on Friday after Woburn, and then I played Hillside today, and I got Formby tomorrow morning before you guys get over here. So I'm stoked to be over here, and yeah, just games starting to come together a little bit though. But I needed that. Like, I'm like, all right, I'm signing up for more tournaments. That 11 was like, the blood was flowing, man. I wasn't even mad. I was thrilled. So, and then we're in scoring afterwards, and they're just going through, and like, good round going, and all of a sudden the guy's calling out the scores to the lady typing them in. And he was like, 3, here 4, 3, 11. 11. He's like, I'm sorry I said that out loud. I'm like, no, I hit the shots. Man. So
you'll be better for it.
Yeah, but Solly, the weather over here is unbelievable right now. Like, people are walking around with tears in their eyes. They're saying this is the best weather we've ever had in late April. It's like mid 70s and no clouds. It's unbelievable.
Well, I'm already very excited, and yeah, I'm already filled with envy from very far away as of right now. But
check out Hitting Cups on the YouTube.
Check out Hitting Cups, because you can watch me make some volatile scores.
Next up, maybe thematically appropriate, we dropped a Nest podcast. We dove into some competitive golf. DJ sat down with Neil, Ben, and myself for a little bit of discussion, a little bit of a therapy as well. Just to chat about why we, seek out competitive golf as adults. The podcast is available exclusively for our Nest members. If you want to learn more about the Nest, get to access this pod. Go to nolayingup.com/join. Lastly, Randy, we got some great new stuff in the pro shop, I believe.
We do. We'll shout out some H&B stuff. I think everything to get you ready for spring, summer golf. We have long sleeve, short sleeve polos, solid stripes, some prints, all really good stuff. As TC is want to say whenever we talk about H&B stuff, it's just tasteful. Everything they do is
this is
tasteful.
One of those new ones. Right,
It's really good stuff. They also have some layering, some hoodies, some Q-zips, things to keep you comfortable. Sounds like you guys won't need much of that over across the pond, but if you do, they have that. Head to store.nolayingup.com. We have a lot of fresh new items there. Great for yourself, great for a gift. Check it out.
And keep an eye out. We'll be doing a little bit of filming here in England in the next coming week. That'll be some content you will see here pretty shortly. We have a lot more filming going on as well this summer. Going to be jaunting around in between a lot of these events. But
and then Randy and I are chopping tomorrow night.
We are.
He's going to talk me off the ledge from the Jags draft. I think we had a coup in Mali, African coup.
A lot of stuff happening.
A lot of stuff going on. So.
A lot of stuff going on. But thank you for tuning in for 2 hours of weekly recap this week. Thank you to our friends at Titleist, Arccos, and AT&T. Cody running the ones and twos and the mic this week. That is a lot more challenging than he makes it look. Big Randy, and for TC calling in late. What time is it? 2 a.m. where you are right now?
2 a.m. Yeah.
2 a.m. Get to bed.
Solly, I don't mean to cut off this perfect thing. We also have TC's magical. The No Laying Up podcast this week is going to cook. And I know we got it in the can a long time ago, but TC, do you want to set anybody up what exactly they should expect?
Yeah, it's an 18-course meal, an 18-hole meal, really. It's my dream 18. So worldwide dream 18. No rules, just right. We got weird. So
took him weeks to figure this out.
A lot of effort went into this.
Oh, it was an existential crisis. Can you move one hole? Like you move one hole and then you got to rejigger your entire board.
Well, so. All the details of the structure around that will be on Tuesday's episode. So check that out. TC's Dream 18 will come out this week as well. So thank you everyone for tuning in, either watching it live or on your podcast. For everyone, Matt running the socials behind the scenes. I'm ready to get on that airplane, TC. I'll see you here shortly and crack on.
Cheers.
Cheers.